Question one.
Hi,
How to
Karen.
avoid, hi Karen, we're here. How to avoid being the DOS in the situation of having resistance to what is coming down from uh, the Dean of Students, even if it wasn't done in the best possible way. So the support that I've become really clear that we're lacking is that this could have been put to a stop a long time ago by the DOS saying to the student, yes, mistakes were made, and we're all aware. It's time to move on.
Okay.
And there's been a lot of defending and defending and defending and defending. And yeah.
So a question about that, and it's easy to ask from the outside looking in, but wondering about the relationship between the DOS and the student and how to erect healthy boundaries.
Yeah, this is a great question. And you will have already avoided this simply by the fact that you will only ever be a DOS to any given student. And this person has multiple roles, like official roles in this student's life that shouldn't exist and that we're moving away from more and more. But somehow
Okay.
That happened. And so, you know, you won't be assigned to work with someone who's a friend of yours. You're not going to be someone's mashpia and their DOS. You're not going to be someone's, supervisor in some other area and their DOS. Like you'll just be their DOS, because that's
Okay.
actually a really astute observation, because there are definitely wacky boundaries at issue. I think part of the wacky boundaries have to do with the mental health of the student. And that's something that no one could have seen like until it has really started showing up. And otherwise, yeah, it's like there's been a lot of the DOS not really taking in the concerns that have been voiced over years and saying, oh, I've talked to them, I'm confident, but the same shit keeps turning up again and again. And
Okay. So willingness to be part of it sounds like to be part of that chain of command and to as a DOS to like see yourself as the link between the administration and like the powers that be and the student, and how do we transmit information and support the administration while maintaining healthy boundaries and loving respect support to the student.
Yeah, which comes back to something I think we talked about last time. What is the definition of advocacy, and what does it mean to act as an advocate for a student? Because it says that in the DOS job description. And, I got to speak at length with Layla about that and her understanding of it, which I love. I really love her understanding, which is, not advocate for a student such that, I'm advocating that they get whatever it is that they want, but advocating for them in that they can accomplish and be their best regardless of, and like in that sense, advocacy here would have been long ago the DOS saying, okay, this is what's being recommended. It's coming from multiple voices. No one's out to get you. Let's look at their concerns. How can we, like advocating for her success
Yes.
in addressing the issues that have been voiced
Yes.
from sources.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you walk me through the process of what this is going to look like? I'm gonna get an email that's gonna say, you've been assigned, or so-and-so has been assigned, and you're gonna be their DOS. And
Yeah,
then what do we do?
okay, so, right, and our letters of acceptance are going out next week. And I haven't yet made the DOS assignments, but I'm gonna look at the email I just sent to Ming that has all the names, so I can tell you the number of people that we've accepted. The number of rabbinic that we've sent. Accepted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've accepted 7 new rabbinic students. And so each of them will be told shortly, either along with or shortly after their acceptance, who their DOS is. Their instruction, and you will also be told who they are. It is upon them to contact you.
Yes,
It is instructed in red, bold lettering
yes,
in their letters. Write to your DOS ASAP to make arrangements for,
yeah,
etc., making a first appointment. So hopefully they will write to you promptly. Your contract, well, agreement begins on May, at the beginning of May. And so they will hopefully write to you before May, but you are definitely not obligated to meet with them until May 1st.
okay,
Because you won't officially be on yet, but if that's okay to at least, respond to an email.
yeah, sure.
That'd be great. And registration, so there's two course registration considerations coming down the pike. One is Smicha Week, which is already open for registration. And, the Nadia and Ming are aware that there's going to be additional people registering. So they're holding spaces open in courses. And okay, now I have to start taking notes of action items for myself, because you guys need to get the list of courses both for Smicha Week and for the fall, because that's the other registration consideration. And to course listings for SW and fall 22. Actually, you have Moodle access already, because Ming got you all set up. The fall, we'll send you how to find the fall courses because they're in the Moodle. And then I'll send you the document that has all the information about Smicha Week, which has the courses and course descriptions. I want to take all of them. They all look so good. Oh my God, it's like a really special year this year. We asked people like really think outside the box, and people really rose to that. So course registration for fall opens May 16th. So you have some time. And it's so exciting.
When it's Smicha Week is July, what?
Smicha Week is June 26th through July 1st.
And when is registration due?
I'm not sure what the actual registration deadline is. Let me pop a note to Ming about that. Okay. So I'll find out that for you. Yeah, it's so exciting this year with having the earlier, like the normal academic calendar admissions timeline, so that people can actually register for fall courses along with everybody else instead of wondering if they'll be able to get into a course.
Right.
which is so cool. It's really cool. And we have like several people who are applying to different seminaries and are needing to make decisions now. And
Yeah.
they can. So yeah, so these are the things, this is why I was like, oh my God, we need to meet, because this is about to really happen. The like
Yeah.
nuts and bolts of the new students. Um, I should also send you the EMSL docs. I can't remember if we talked last time about EMSL, Essential Midot for Spiritual Leadership.
Yes.
Yeah. So that will also be part of your like first advising session with a dossier, to have them. And we actually like we need to figure out what our timeline is for the first round this year. It's like the baseline, and those can sometimes be lengthy. It's really interesting. Some people clearly have done a lot of thinking on these in these terms, not on these specific terms, but a lot of self-reflection along these lines. And some are like a little rambly, like trying to figure it all out.
So do they write something
And
and then
there's a series of sort of CPE style questions centered around different Musar Midot.
right.
And
Okay.
so then that's free form writing. What we've done now, we're incorporating it for the, these newer cohorts into the annual self-evaluation. And so this spring, we've asked people to pick 3 and write like 250 to 400 words only on each of those. Like, have you seen growth in some area? Are you seeing challenge in some area? Whatever, and just pick 3. So it's the first one that's more heavy lifting.
And so before we meet with the student, you'll get to us their spiritual autobiography, their write-up of this EMSL, and I guess anything else that you think we need.
Why don't I send you guys the links to their full applications?
That would be great. Now, do you suggest that we look at all of that before we meet with the student? Or do we meet with the student first, get our initial impression, and then go to the links?
I would suggest reading the stuff first.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I can just say, from, what we've interviewed all these people, and it was really helpful. And I think it helps them feel seen. If like something pops out at you and say like, gosh, I noticed, or you might find even touch points with, something that resonates for you. And, like, oh, I noticed you're interested in this, and me too. Or
Okay.
you have some questions you want to hear more about. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
So this is like on another thing. It also dawned on me, like, I'm not a rabbinic DOS, obviously. And I want to ask Natan Margalit if he would be willing to sit with you guys, because there's going to be some questions that you're going to have about, golly, if some people have credits they want to transfer, or, prior learning that might be equivalent to something, or assessing like what the best course matches for people would actually be based on, you know, what they bring to you in that first meeting. And I I think it would probably be really good to speak with someone like Natan. And I recommend him for a variety of reasons. One, I think he has really good judgment, and I also think he has time for a meeting like that.
Okay.
He tends to be really, you know, he's happy to do stuff like that.
Okay. And in terms of students picking out classes,
Mhm.
I think well, let me say, I can only speak personally, and I'm not sure that my path was the most traditional, but I had basically planned out my 4 years within the first semester. And I created a grid, and this is going to be in this semester and this, and like I laid everything out. I gave that to Reb Elliott. Is that common? Is that what most students do? Or do they look at it and they say, you know what? This class looks really interesting. I'm just going to sign up for this class and I'll just see where it goes. Like, I guess it's how structured do we suggest the students to be versus how much do we leave it up to whatever the availability is, their availability, course availability?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And I think it's not that unusual. I know I was doing a lot of plotting myself. And I mean, because I'm like that too. But
Yeah.
I've also, and you know, I'm a very temporary DOS to one person, so I haven't seen how a lot of students do it. But I do get, well, for one thing, one clue is that we do have this 5-year calendar of courses on the Moodle, this Airtable thing. And the link to that is actually in the DOS Matters Moodle page. Like there's all sorts of cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely I've gotten emails from students about course plotting. So,
Okay.
and it's very helpful for students have some guidance, like, and we have quite a few, wow, we have a pretty wide range. Like there's someone who's coming in at a really like machina level. So that someone like that is going to be need to be guided towards like the foundations courses. And then, you know, there's someone who like, you know, teaches Jewish studies for goodness sake at the university level. And she has so much stuff. And like, I'll probably put her with Elliot, you know, because he just he has
Yeah.
so much experience with that kind of thing. And then there are people like all along, like everything in between. Um, so yeah, I think definitely some guidance and you'll want to find out like where they are with their Hebrew. And there's a pretty wide range there. There's a couple of people who are already involved in Aleph. There's 2 that we've accepted who are in the Earth-Based Judaism thing, which is cool. They're both great. God, like really great applicants. Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like really exciting. Yep. Oh, I think that I just honed in on someone for you actually. I think Samira Lovejoy might be going to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Sounds good.
Yep. And I think I'll probably start each of you with 2, because I know you both said 2, maybe 3, but I don't want to max you out in this first year already.
Yeah, no, I think that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like 2 is enough to keep you interested. But I way don't want to max you out.
Okay. All right.
Also nice, like just to hear myself say the number 7. And knowing that 4 of them will be going between the 2 of you, which leaves only 3 more for other people, which is such a great thing.
Oh, okay. I was concerned people were gonna be like, oh, they're stealing our business and
No,
why
I
are
mean,
they setting-
everyone's been told, like, I'm trying to even things out more. And when we have a new dean in place, God willing, someday soon, I want to work on establishing actual caps. Like, there are reasons that it's felt wise to not come rushing in and do that myself, but that's something I'm going to talk to the new dean about whenever that happens.
setting up like guidelines of how many students and
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. So like, I think over the next year, I'm going to work on bringing a couple more new DOSes on board, in fact.
how many are there now?
Let's see. There's the 2 of you, Natan, Elliot, Layla. I always forget someone. There's someone I'm intentionally not counting because I think they're not going to continue as a DOS, which is fine. I have my little DOS thing open on my computer. Layla, oh yeah, and Aubrey. So Amy, Karen, Aubrey, Natan, and Layla. So there's 6.
6?
6 currently. Yeah.
Not so many.
Yeah. And one of the others is only carrying 4 because he was new last year. So I'm certainly going to give him at least 1. And there's one that I want to give to Elliot, even though he has a million, but I think it's a good
Yeah.
choice. All right. Oh, this is Tachlis. I have sent both of your personal services agreements to Reb Tivona to have her sign and scan and send back to me.
Okay,
And then I'll send them to you for the same procedure because we'll need them signed by you guys. But I'll follow up with her on that. Make sure because she's been doing a lot, all sorts of things too. So I want to make sure it didn't slip through the cracks. And with that, did I already send you? I think, did I send you the job description when we spoke
maybe.
months ago? Okay, I'll include it anyway.
I'll check my finder.
But that also has some information on like, it details like 6 meetings per year, and the type of stuff that should happen in the various meetings and so on.
Okay,
In pretty vague terms, but in greater than 0 terms.
don't see it on my desktop, but that doesn't mean that you didn't send it.
Well, I'll include it when I send the personal services agreements.
Okay, that'd be great.
Because in the agreement, it does say, please see attached job description where, where it says, these will be your things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm very, very much hoping to get that to you by Monday at the latest. So I'm gonna make sure Tubona has those.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the stuff that's coming up immediately. Do you want to have a little view of the Airtable 5-year calendar?
Sure.
It's really cool. We'll open it up. It's going to take a moment I think I have to re-log in. Yep. And sometimes, actually, I will, I'm going to start the screen share already so you can see how to get there. So if you go to Information Center, the Information Center is great. So there's the directory, there's the Talmud Handbook, which is more helpful than we think. It's a good doc to peruse now and again. These are the academic calendars. These are PDFs that show like important dates throughout the year.
Okay.
And so this is the current year, and then they've posted next year as well, which is great. Schedule of courses. This is the gold manipulable database calendar. And it shows all these different screens that you can see. And this just takes a little while to load, as you can see. This will populate soon. Right, and you can download things. All right. So this shows all the different courses and when they're happening. And this is, just this one screen. And so it's what semester they're happening. Required AOP course for whom? Content required course. Did we talk about that last time? The difference between?
I think so. So yeah, whether it's content required, they have to get the content, but it can be outside of AOP. But if it's AOP required, then it has to be through the AOP.
Yeah, it has to be that close with AOP. And what department, which is mostly, it's very relevant for rabbinics because you have to fulfill a certain number of Tanakh credits, a certain number of rabbinics credits, and so on.
Is there some sort of master list that lists the chairs or the heads of the department if we have questions, so we know who to contact?
Ooh, I don't think there is, but I can put that on my list of things to send. Just off the cuff, I can tell you Natan Margalit is the chair of the
Rabbinics, right?
rabbinics. Yep. And Layla is history. Elliot is mysticism, Kabbalah. I think Layla is Tanakh as well.
Okay.
I'm not sure who the thought chair is, or if there is one.
Well, Victor used to be it, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who's heading that up now.
Yeah. It may be that that's an in-between, and that we might, yeah, I'll find out. But I'll also send that in email when I send some of these other things. So yeah, that's that version. And then as you go down, you can see like, all right, what's happening spring 22, fall 22, that's going to be your very first most relevant. But then there's also, oh, I can show you now. I was going to, and I'll include the directions, but if you want to see what's happening in the fall, you click on that, you go to register for courses, fall 22, click here to see the list of courses. And then to see more about it, you click on the I.
Yep.
And it shows you the description, instructor, time and date, and so on. And it even tells you the credit area. No. and so on. So these are all the courses for the fall.
Right, so, and where is the best place to find the list of credits, required credits for each subject area? Is that in the DOS
Yep, that's in the
event
doc.
as well?
Yep. Let me open
Okay.
that. So job description, curriculum docs. This is the one thing you want. If I click on it, it's just going to download rabbinic
Okay.
advising cheat sheet that
Okay.
has like, you need such and such credits in this area, blah, blah, blah. And here's links to Airtable. This is if you want to find out who someone's DOS is for some reason, or, who your DOSes must be at is. That's the calendar that we were just looking at. And the form to submit an independent study proposal.
Okay, and can you just go back one page so I know what this is under?
This is
DOS circle.
DOS Circle Matters, which you have access to. I've enrolled you as
Yeah.
participants in that.
Okay,
And oh, right, and all the EMSL stuff is in there, in fact.
okay. All right, so I will spend some time perusing this.
And there's this new thing now, which won't concern you for a number of years, if God willing, you're still around doing this and you don't run through the hills. The story I told you at the beginning would make anyone want to run for the hills, but I assure you it is highly unusual. And God willing, when there's a new dean, hopefully soon, I think things stand to become increasingly stabilized and unified and so on.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's this new thing, which if God willing, you're still around doing this, are for people who are coming up for senior status. It's a capstone project. It used to be the senior.
I guess I should probably say, like, full disclaimer that I'm supervising a student with a capstone project.
Right.
Erwin and I are working with Emily Stern.
That's awesome.
So we haven't done much. We've had, I think, one meeting. Anyway, but you should know that if you didn't already.
Thank you. Part of my brain, that sounds familiar, but I didn't know it in this part of my brain.
Yes.
That should be not a problem at all.
Okay.
But here is like all sorts of docs on the capstone, full description, timeline summary, and financial policy.
Great. That's actually will be very helpful to have as well.
Yeah. So that is that handy dandy Moodle type. Right.
So this is under, just stay there for 1 second because I have to go home. My courses catalog. Okay. I just wanted to see everything you had clicked on to get to this page. All right, I got that now.
Okay, good. I wonder, is there anything else we need to look for in the Moodle? So this is actually interesting because Reb Stephen has retired and he was doing inordinate amounts of tech support. He was kind of our main tech support dude. This person, Aaron Buncher, he's only available in the evenings. And Stephen has still been available to deal with emergencies. But we are working on a contract with Moodle to actually get support from them. So sometime, I think in the next few months, that's going to be kicking in. And there's going to be some sort of, you know, support request ticket thing happening, and there'll be some trainings available. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
hopefully that'll hopefully be good and valuable, and hopefully also we're gonna have people from Moodle help us to make our Moodle better.
Yeah.
Particularly the rabbinic learning plans. And we've looked at those a little bit, right? But probably would be a good idea to look at them again. The rabbinic learning plans are, to say unwieldy is kind of an understatement, unfortunately. I need to go to my dashboard. Figure out how to get to learning plans and not have to go to someone's in particular. Here we go. So this is the template. So this isn't someone's specific learning plan, but rabbinic learning plans. And, some of them are linked to particular courses.
What does it mean to declaim?
Like, can you read a passage of the Siddur or Torah out
So it's
loud?
it's like more than decoding, but it's
Yeah.
just the reading. Are you able to read it?
Right. Are you able to read it out loud, not sounding like someone in kindergarten who's just learning how to read?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And to be truthful, like, I don't really know how that's assessed. And, some of these just came out of Stephen's brain when he designed these learning plans. So, right, some of these are linked to courses. And then there's the elective thing, because, some of the credits come from required courses and some are, just electives. And so it's very bizarre. So I think probably what happens is when someone has done an elective in, say, Tanakh, they have to upload evidence of learning and, or, say what course it was and whatever. But it's like, you see what
And
I mean?
is that the student's responsibility, or this is what the DOS does? Like the
So
DOS
the
uploads?
student, it's a great question. The student's responsibility is to upload the evidence of learning and to make sure that I think that if it's an AOP course, which is not linked to the learning plan, then they're responsible for, I think, linking the course to the elective. And then the DOS responsibility, and this we need help from Moodle from. The DOS responsibility is to review like the student will submit a request to review something, and the really horrible break in the chain, missing link in the chain, is that Moodle doesn't then give you a notification of any sort. So it's got to be on the student to say, I submitted a request for review of XYZ. Will you please go into my learning plan and look at it? And so then you have to do the review. And I can go over that with you again if you want. I think we did it last time, but I mean, you just have to do it a whole bunch. Which means I'm going to go back to my, lucky me, I get everybody's things to review.
So will I have a sheet that says competencies to review? Like you have this page, or is this only for you?
Yes, what you'll have at your dashboard, yep, you'll have, since you're a DOS, you will also have a competencies to review thing. So how it first shows up is in your dashboard.
Yep.
It should be at the top there.
Yep, competencies
And
to
you
review.
just click on whichever one and review more, and then you see them all. Right. Let's see what happens here. This is an additional Clee Kodesh course. So this student uploaded a link to a course that she did. Grab bag of miscellaneous Vanderbilt courses. So she was in an MDiv, I think, at Vanderbilt. So let's see what it goes to. Yeah, so then she entered all the different details of the courses that she did, along with syllabi. So this is like, you know, outside stuff that she's hoping to get credit for.
Wow.
Yeah. I want to find one that has like a link to an AOP. Oops. What happened? This is an AOP course. Interesting.
So it says no evidence, which means that they haven't completed the class successfully.
Well, it means either that. Let's see what happens if I. No, I don't want to do that. It might mean that they. How do I cancel?
Huh.
Hey, this is. So did they do first encounter with Talmud? It might be that it's just that this is not linked. And so it's not like, hasn't showed up here. Weird. I wish there was a way to cancel once I started a review. So I made an assumption that I could cancel, and I can't. So now it says it's under review by me, which is not accurate.
Yeah.
I was just playing. Okay. Well, I can write to their DOS and say, if you see that in their thing, this is what happened. Interesting. Right, so there's this area that you can look at all of someone's evidence of learning that they've entered. And it looks like they took they did an independent study with Basia and wrote lyrics to something. So music of the liturgical year is a content required course. And so they clearly did it outside, looks like with Basia Schechter.
Yeah.
So then, right. Oh boy, I wonder if Reb Stephen would be willing to come and do a learning plan. I am sure. I don't wonder. I'm sure Reb Stephen would be willing to come and do a learning plan training with rabbinic DOSes. And I'm sure that that needs to happen. I'm going to write to him right now because it is it's really important. All right. Request issued.
All right, good.
All right.
So I will,
out of that.
right. I'll send these notes to Karen. I don't know if she will be able to understand them or if they will be helpful, but I will send them to her, and I know you'll send her the video. And then I'll just do some exploring of the DOS handbook, whatever that is, training manual. And if I have any questions, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, and you just said the word handbook, which was a great word to say, because as I've said, Natan and I were working on one and we need to go back to it. But if you have like things, I've also started this table of contents, my imaginal table of contents for it. But if you have like topics that you're like, this should be in the DOS handbook, can you send that to me and I'll add it to my table of contents if it's not already there?
Sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Wow.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and, I'll just make you holler and I will holler back, obviously. I want to stay in close touch. It's going into the deep end, and I'm going to also write to Natan, of course. And maybe, do you think it would be helpful for the three of you to sit together, you and Karen and Natan, or do you want to like write to Natan as needed and do individual stuff when you have met with
So
your?
I'm wondering, and I don't know how much material they need to go over, but would it be possible to plan the same day and do 30 minutes with Natan and 30 minutes with Reb Steve?
Ah,
If they think they can get there, they can transmit in a half an hour. Or even if it's, hour and 15, if
right,
Stephen
like
thinks
maybe
more.
an hour and 15 or 90 minutes and they can split it.
Yeah,
So that's what doodle polls are for.
yeah, I just don't know how much material they have.
Okay. I will work on that.
All right. Sounds good, my friend. Good to see you as always. I hope this side will resolve so that you can live more in that universe.
Amen. Yeah. Amen. Amen. Thank you. Have a
Talk
lovely
soon.
afternoon.
Thanks. You too. Bye.